Some people say that they should bring back the death penalty because if there's another Jack the Ripper, he should be hung. And I really have to object to that on the grounds of being pedantic here, but the word should actually be Flag the Ripper. He's only Jack the Ripper if he's hung at sea. That's just a little joke there for the Flag Shagger market, which I think is an important market to break at this point in time. This week, the Conservative MP James Wilde asked the BBC's Director General Tim Davie how many Union flags were shown in the graphics inside the BBC's annual performance report, then revealed, much to the shock of, maybe if we're being generous, the organisers of last night of the proms, but realistically no one, that there was in fact 0. There are 0 pictures of the Union flag in the BBC's performance report. So while James Wilde MP, or Wild James as I imagine he might be called at parties, is bringing this to the attention of the masses, I thought I would use the opportunity to implore him to raise the case of other omissions from the BBC annual review. So, James Wilde, if you're watching, here are 5 other fabrics overlooked by the BBC review I would like you to raise in Parliament. Number 1. Thomas the Tank Engine duvet covers. Did you know the BBC report does not contain a single image of a Thomas the Tank Engine duvet cover, including related pillow set? Now, this may surprise you to learn, but back in the period of 1989 to 1999, when I was a child, we had Thomas the Tank Engine duvet covers almost every other week, with the rest of the time being taken up by Winnie the Pooh. Since 2008, so all of my adult life, I have never once slept beneath a Thomas the Tank Engine duvet cover. Nowadays, my choices are limited to white, yellow, and with flowers. And it's not until someone points this out to you that you realise how few Thomas the Tank Engine duvet covers you've slept under recently. When the number of qualified fat controllers in this country starts to fall, I think we'll know who's to blame. Number 2. Y-fronts. In recent years, boxer shorts and hipster pants have become the cradle of choice for the British scrotum, but at what cost? The support offered by the Y-front has all but disappeared from British culture as a result of a direct cultural attack from America. Not one superhero in the Marvel Cinematic Universe wears Y-fronts, which was once a staple of the genre. And what's more, in this day and age of COVID, it's always a decent idea to wear undergarments you can quickly whip off in an alley behind Sainsbury's and wear as a plausible looking face mask when you nip out having forgotten yours. Number 3. Hawaiian shirts. Red, white and blue? Well, it's a start I guess, but Hawaiian shirts are the ultimate accessory no man should be without. Stand out from the crowd. Not a crowd of your own friends, you may find you have quite few, but crowds in general. The term peacocking refers to a man trying to impress a lady, but these days it usually just means chinos and a haircut that you saw on The Only Way is Essex. That's not how peacocks do it. Display a wide range of colours. Are you worried your child might get lost at the beach? Not if they're wearing a Hawaiian shirt, you won't be. A power cut? While everyone else is searching for candles, you're lighting the room with your own luminescent glow. Number 4. Hot towels in planes and Indian restaurants. At the end of a delicious curry, there's nothing quite so satisfying as sucking on a slice of orange and dabbing your head with a hot towel. I love a curry, but honestly I would say one of the best bits is when it's over. The food is done. The little hoover that looks like a blackboard rubber has been run across the table and sucked up any stray bits of rice. The tablecloth has been carefully picked up, folded and taken away to reveal a second tablecloth underneath the whole time. Is this tablecloth one that will only know the embrace of hot towels and the bill? One that will never ever be sullied with jalfrezi sauce? Nobody knows. Maybe there is no table. Maybe it's just an increasing arrangement of intricately folded tablecloths supporting themselves. Then the hot towels come over, all individually wrapped in planet-killing plastic. How are they wrapped up? They can't be single use, which means they must be sent back somewhere to be re-soaked and wrapped again. Like poking a bruise, cricket, or the female orgasm, the process is baffling, it's a mystery to us all, but the euphoria is unreal. Also, they're on planes, but the food is shit, so they're less good. Number 5. The safety curtain. When it comes to disasters in theatre, and I'm talking literal disasters, not Thriller, the Michael Jackson musical, the insurance firm Direct Line has calculated that almost all risks of disasters, be it fires, intruders, terrorist acts, murders, floods, and anything else, occur in theatres approximately 1 minute into the interval and last approximately 30 seconds. So, having a defensive shield made of extra strong asbestos, that can be lowered down just for those crucial seconds has probably saved the lives of so many of our great actors. Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Judi Dench, Joe Pasquale and Helen Mirren are all still with us today because of the power of that safety curtain. Of course, fringe venues can go fuck themselves. It's not even a legal requirement for those to have doors, seats, any kind of window or air conditioning below 80 decibels. But our West End stars are safe thanks to that crucial 30 seconds every night. So if you're watching James Wilde, please raise these in Parliament. And now back to flags. The clip of James Wilde MP talking to the BBC Director General is well worth watching. It's basically a guy convinced he's cottoned on to one insightful point that's going to bring down the Beeb, making that point to a guy who doesn't even really know why it's a question. It's like arguing the government should be disbanded because the Chilcot report into the Iraq War doesn't feature any cat gifs. And Wilde James says that his constituents would expect to see more than one union flag in an industry report, which is really surprising. I mean, I can honestly say I don't know how many companies' accounts, staffing contracts, health and safety audits or risk assessments have a union flag in them, but like Mr. Davey predicting where the question was going, I could take a guess and it would probably be zero. The union flag has become an increasingly common symbol across British politics in recent years. Boris Johnson announces lockdowns in front of 2 of them, and his new press briefing room has 4. I think that makes him more patriotic than someone with 3, but fucked if he ever comes up against someone with a string of bunting. Sir Keir Starmer has announced intentions to win back voters after he was shockingly exposed by the Daily Mail as the kind of fucker who owns a sanctuary for sick horses, by, quote, wrapping the party in the flag, and a leaked report from the Labour Party said it would make use of the flag, veterans and dressing smartly. Now all of this has blown up around the BBC over the last week because Housing Secretary Robert Jenrick appeared on the news with a perfectly natural Union Jack and portrait of the Queen hanging above his sofa. Which is kind of odd, isn't it? I mean, like, unless the dude was Alf Garner, it's not a normal thing. And as a side note, people often say you couldn't make this up. But in this case, if the flag and the Queen portrait had been written into an old British sitcom, it probably wouldn't get repeated today or appear on BritBox. But that's a whole other issue. The point is, some people, traitors, commies, scum and that, don't have Union flags beside their sofa and a portrait of the Queen. And this was commented on by BBC Breakfast presenter Charlie State, who made fun of the flag a bit. So naturally his co-host Naga Manchetti received widespread abuse on Twitter. Now who knows why Naga Manchetti received more abuse than Charlie? I'm not saying there might be a link between people who get really upset over a joke about a flag and racists, but there's only not a link because they're exactly the same people most of the time. Look, the Union flag sends out a message. The background of that Zoom call is as carefully curated as all of those bookshelves you see of Stephen Hawking and Oxford Classic books that have been shipped into the homes of MPs to replace 50 Shades, Mills and Boon's erotica and Oswald Mosley's memoirs. And there's nothing wrong with curating your Zoom background, but in a world of politics obsessed with authenticity, anything that feels like it might be done for show is going to get rightly called out. And you can't deny the Union flag and a picture of the Queen is a choice. It's a powerful symbol of Britishness while actually being fairly weak on substance. It's like me wearing the free t-shirt I got from the Macmillan Cancer Support charity. It looks good, it wins me brownie points in the eyes of certain people I might want to impress, but in itself it's pretty meaningless distraction from the fact that I didn't donate to Comic Relief this year. Now, this isn't about patriotism, by the way. I'm all for waving a flag around the last night of the proms while singing about all the countries whose resources we pillaged and people we enslaved. Okay, to be fair, the reasonable paragraph bit hasn't got off to the best start, but to be honest, no, people should be proud of where they are from, and having pride or love of your national symbol is not an inherently bad thing. It does lead to some people's unwillingness to discuss some of the uncomfortable failings of this country, which is a problem, but patriotism itself isn't really an issue. What I'm complaining about is more the faux shows of patriotism to score political points while doing very little. And trust me, I should know, I'm a lefty, and we are the best at half-assed slogans. There's a sticker someone stuck on a lamppost near me that says, "No one is illegal," to which I added my own important caveat, except bank robbers. Bank robbers are illegal. Now, the original point of that sticker, one about immigration, is a fair and valid one, but the slogan itself is fairly meaningless. And that's what's happening here. figures right across the board of politics have adopted the Union flag as a means of saying, look how much I care about Britain. And a certain type of nationalist and patriotic people have gone, yeah, anyone with without a flag is a traitor. But the politician isn't actually doing anything to show they care for Britain. They're not making the country a better place. They're not making meaningful change. It's like a restaurant accused of having a dirty kitchen, and you go back the next week and they've changed the colours of the napkins to red, white and blue. It's an empty and pretty meaningless gesture that does nothing to put things right. Meanwhile, because it's the ultimate symbol of Britishness, if anyone questions it or asks them what they're doing to make Britain better, they can be shut down as being unpatriotic, as if that's a crime, or as if liking the flag is the only way to be patriotic, when a better way might be to knock the futile gestures on the head and improve the country for everyone. When Boris Johnson makes those lockdown speeches in front of flags, the subtext is partly that he's speaking for the country, but also that criticising the content of those briefings is an attack on your country and not pulling together. When Keir Starmer focuses on flags and dressing smartly, it's about presenting an image, but there's nothing there to back it up. The image is fairly pointless. It's dumb political symbols, not smart political policy. And as an aside, dressing smartly is such an odd choice there. Like, most politicians dress reasonably smartly anyway, and anyone who saw Dominic Cummings give evidence to the Select Committee in a smart shirt or do his big garden press conference knows why he doesn't dress like that more often. He looks really weird when he dresses smart. It's like a child in a suit. It's so weird. It's also part of a wider thing now. The last year has really seen us reckon with our past. Statues have been torn down, statues which themselves are symbols of British history. Heritage sites have put more honest and open accounts of some of the unpleasant things that happened in the country's past on little plaques, and then been told by the government that it's an infringement on their free speech to be allowed to express whatever they know to be true. One of the smartest scientists the planet will ever produce, Lieutenant Commander Data in Star Trek First Contact, said, believing oneself to be perfect is often the product of a delusional mind, and questioning our past and our symbols is an important part of that. Fly the flag by all means, just don't let it become the thing that matters. Don't become America. David Mitchell once said on Mock the Week that the difference between Americans and the English is that Americans give a massive shit about their flag being burnt, while British people would react, you paid for it, so it's your flag, you're burning your own flag. So let's stop focusing on the symbols and go away and Google all the bad stuff that James Wilde doesn't want us to notice the government is up to.